Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Dave, and if you use a Mac, you've probably run into this problem at least once. You love Mac OS, but there's that one app, or maybe a few, that only work on Windows. And for a lot of people, that's actually the reason why they never switch to Mac. But by the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how you can run Windows on your Mac in under 10 minutes. So let's take a real life example. My wife is a pediatric dentist and a full-time MacBook user, and she uses a piece of software called iStoma. It's specifically designed for managing appointments and patient data, and even on their official website it literally says that you need a Windows PC or a Mac with parallels. So does that mean that she needs two separate computers, one for work and one for home? Well, not anymore, because today's video is sponsored by Parallels. And this is exactly what she uses to run Windows directly on her MacBook Air without needing a separate laptop. Because honestly, the experience is so much smoother than you might expect. So let's start with the installation. I'll put it on screen, but the setup process is actually very simple. You just download Parallels using the link in the description and the pinned comment. You open the installer, you follow the steps, and it even helps you download Windows automatically. You don't even have to hunt for ISO files or do anything complicated. It's extremely easy and intuitive. And after a few minutes, Windows is installed and you're ready to go, just like that. And the best part is that it integrates incredibly well with Mac OS. For example, right now I'm running Windows in full screen, but you can use something called coherence mode, which basically lets Windows apps run like native Mac apps. Let me just show you how that works. So right now I'm in Windows in full screen mode. Yeah, I can go back to Final Cut Pro. I can go back to, I don't know, Safari, and everything is just down here in the dock. So if I want to reopen Windows, I just click on Parallels and there you go. It's running simultaneously with Mac OS, and that's the best part. So opening the dentistry app, if we take a look at iStoma, this is how it looks like. So you have the schedule for the entire week. Of course, this is just a demo account, but this is where you can see your appointments, your patient data, and everything else. So should my wife just buy a separate Windows laptop just for this? No, of course not. This is the best option. And this is actually something that a lot of people don't even realize until they run into it. And this is not just for dentists. There are many professionals that rely on very specific Windows-only software. Accountants, architects, engineers, even students at universities that have, software that simply doesn't exist on macOS. And honestly, it makes a huge difference because you don't have to carry two computers, you don't have to sync files between them, and everything is just in one place. And here's another real-life example. My wife can take photo of her patients and their teeth using her iPhone, right? Then she downloads those photos directly on the Mac Photos app, and those photos are immediately accessible in iStoma running Windows. She can just upload them there without having to do anything else. And this is exactly why she prefers this setup. She gets the familiarity of Mac OS, the battery life of a MacBook, and she still has access to Windows software when she needs it. Of course, this is just one scenario. You can also use Parallels for things such as banking apps that only run on Windows, university or corporate software, or even testing and development if you're a programmer. So let's talk about performance, because this is another big advantage, especially on Apple Silicon Macs. This MacBook Air with the M4 chip has incredible performance and efficiency, so running Windows in Parallels feels extremely fast and smooth, even on demanding workflows. And on this MacBook, everything is practically, instantaneous. Like here you go, Windows, Steam, iStoma, everything opens up immediately. It's super snappy and I love it. I've also managed to test this on older Apple Silicon Macs, such as the M1 base with 8 gigs of RAM, and it ran very well. But you will notice a difference if you upgrade to a newer chip like the M4, especially with 16 gigs of RAM or even more. So yeah, if you're running an older Mac and you're planning on upgrading your Mac anyway, this becomes an even more, compelling solution. And since Apple Silicon is so efficient, battery life is excellent, even when running Windows in the background. And that's something you simply do not get with, traditional Windows laptops. And do you know what else you can do with it? You can game on it. I actually signed into my personal Steam account and I downloaded Skyrim just to see how it works and if it works, and guess what? It works perfectly. Let me just launch the game, turn up the volume. I also have my mouse here, so let's see how this works. And there you go, Skyrim, the full version. And the cool part is that this is running at the native resolution. Yeah, it's not extremely smooth, it's like 30 to 40 FPS, but hey, it's definitely enough. I can game like this, no problem. And again, for such a thin and light laptop, it's absolutely crazy. And now going back to the desktop, and yeah. Now, of course, this is not meant to replace a, full gaming PC, but you can definitely play lighter or older games, indie titles, and even some modern ones depending on your Mac. Like for example, if you have a Pro or Max chip with like 32 gigs of RAM, you can easily run even more demanding games like I don't know, GTA 5 or Call of Duty, no problems. So why is parallel such a big deal nowadays? Well, back in the Intel days, you used to have boot camp, but that's no longer available on Apple Silicon Macs. That would basically allow you to dual boot to Windows and Macs. But nowadays with Apple Silicon, if you want to run Windows, virtualization is really the only solution. And honestly, this is much more convenient anyway, because you run both OSs at the same time. You don't need to restart your Mac or choose between Mac OS and Windows. You just literally alt-tab between OSs. How cool is that? So yeah, overall, if you already own a MacBook and you're happy with it, and you're thinking about buying a separate Windows laptop just for a few apps, or for work, or for university, I would definitely try Parallels first. It can save you money and it makes your Mac so much more versatile. I've personally been using the Pro Edition, which gives you more performance flexibility and advanced settings, especially if you need to allocate more RAM or more, I don't know, CPU cores for demanding apps. So if you're running professional software or development tools, then it's definitely the version that I would recommend. Again, you can find the link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. Parallels is also officially authorized by Microsoft to run Windows 11 on Apple Silicon Macs. And with over 20 years in the business and more than 2 million active users, you know that you're in good hands. And again, thank you so much to Parallels for sponsoring this video. And as always, this was Dave on Tech, and I'll see you next week with more iPod and MacBook videos. Dave on Tech, signing out.